Premier League Gambling Podcast on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by Shady Rays. SGPN is teaming up with Shady Rays for Shady May. Get 50% off your Shady Rays using the promo code SGPN and then go to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/shady for your chance to win $500. Welcome everybody to the Premier League Gambling Podcast on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network. My name is Malcolm Bamford, coming to you from Newcastle upon Tyne in the northeast of England. Today is Monday, May the 1st, and we are here to have a look back at a vaguely bonkers weekend of Premier League action that's still not quite finished. There's a game starting in about 20 minutes, and we've got 4 midweek games that we can take you through and make some picks. Joining us, as always, Mr. Barry Penaluna. Hello, Baz.
Evening, Malcolm. How are you doing?
I am a little bit tired and emotional, Baz, as you can probably hear in my voice. Alcohol was taken yesterday. I found myself stuck between a rock and a hard place, Baz, because I had tickets last night to go and see Martin Kemp. I don't know, do the Americans have Martin Kemp, do you think, Baz, is it a thing? Cereal? Good evening, cereals here. Do you have Martin Kemp cereal? He's like an old pop star, and he Spandau Ballet. That was his thing. You are gold, gold. Always believe in your soul. That one we couldn't think of any more Martin Kemp songs in the pub. Turns out, anyway, Blas, he wasn't even singing songs.
Yeah.
So here's the thing. So I'll tell you why I was drunk first. So Newcastle match was 2:00 kickoff. So I had to get to the pub for about 12:30. But then there was no point going home. So I went back to the pub, watched Liverpool with Tottenham. By then it was 6:00. Martin Kemp started at 7:00. So I was out for pretty much 12 hours anyway. But no, what Martin Kemp did, so we turned up. There was a bloke who wasn't Martin Kemp, was on the stage playing records, which is fair enough. And he was playing some quite good records, you know, some nice 80s stuff. It was a bit of an old person's thing, you know, like I was right bang in the demographic for it. This bloke was playing some records. Then he went off. Martin Kemp came on, continued playing records. And then Martin Kemp went off. And the other bloke came back on and continued playing records. So you might as well have been in your own kitchen, frankly, Baz. You could have just put Spotify on and had the same experience. But, you know, it was a community of middle-aged people dancing along to Bon Jovi and Madonna and Dexys and Madness and Terence Trent D'Arby, all of that. We think we're alone now. Debbie Gibson, you like that one? All of that sort of stuff, Baz. So what do you think of that?
It sounds a bit shit, if I'm honest. How much did that cost you? How much was your ticket?
Probably to watch Martin Kemp put his Spotify on, about 35 quid. Christ.
I'd give it a miss.
But I'll tell you what, he's quite popular with the ladies though as well. Yeah. He was certainly moistening a few gussets around the place. Like he's quite a hit with the older woman.
Yeah, I mean, Serial's possibly got the wrong end of the stick about Spandau Ballet. He said musicals are not top of American playlists. It's not a musical, is it? It's very much
band, did it?
His pop band, wasn't it?
The name comes from Spandau Ballet. Was it not Flash Gordon? You know, remember Flash Gordon? I'm sure the name Spandau Ballet comes from possibly the planet they're visiting in Flash Gordon or something like that. Anyway, Seagulls asked us a question here, Baz, so we'll try and read this. Before the game before Leicester Everton, yeah, okay.
He wants a bit of a steer before the Leicester game. So he's saying with how the first half goals went this weekend, because there was tons of first half goals. I'll get on to talking about that when we come to the Liverpool game in particular. Do we think it should be played again here? Because Leicester can't stop anyone.
That's just Everton haven't got any goals in them. However, I said that about Palace at the weekend, and they scored 3 first half goals. So, judging by that, then I wouldn't put you off at all. Like, I mean, my place still Leicester. I made Leicester my lock on the last show, so I'm still going into tonight with my lock going. Leicester, the final play in my 14 parlay as well. I've got 3 out of 3. And Leicester make the 4th one up. So I'm pretty much all in on Leicester. But I wouldn't put you off. After this weekend and the time of the season, you could bag anything, Baz. You can bag absolutely anything. and you've got a chance.
The first half goals over 1.5 is at 9-4, so plus 225. My pick for this one, we might as well put out now as it's about to go off. So anyone that is listening, all one who's tuned into YouTube, I've got Dominic Calvert-Lewin and Harvey Barnes to have a shot on target each, 2 or more goals in the match and 8 or more corners. That came in at about 9-4, so that was my play. Another one I'm going to mention, our Dutch friend in the Discord. I don't know how you pronounce it. Tees Pudding or something like that is his screen name. And I have no idea what his name is. But anyway, the Dutch lad in the Discord says Dwight McNeil has had 6 shots on target in his last 3 games. He reckons Dwight McNeil to have 2 or more shots on target at 6-1 is worth a look. So I'm going to put that one out there because I've tailed that. So, that's the picks for tonight.
You did mention there's only one person in the YouTube. If anyone is waiting for us at 8 o'clock, because I scheduled this for 8 p.m., this is just my fault. I'm too hungover to do anything properly today. So if you join us in 20 minutes or you've missed it completely, it's just my fault. I went for a little disco nap before, and Baz just woke us up about 20 minutes ago saying, we're going to record now if you want.
We also wanted to get finished a little bit earlier so we can watch the majority of that Everton Leicester game as well. So,
anything sloppy, shoddy, slipshod, slapdash, or just plain wrong that happens in this episode, you can lay squarely at the shoulders of me for drinking too many ciders last night, watching old Martin Kemp go. Baz, you've had some... it's been Bank Holiday Monday today. Now, obviously, I've spent the majority of it sleeping. Have you been out and about? You've been playing out?
Had a busy day today, yes. So, public holiday here. Everyone's off work, off school, so I thought, done nothing all weekend other than watch football.
Nice.
And I thought, now there's a 3-day weekend, I should really spend some time with the family. So I came up with the idea. We went for a nice lunch, and I went for an escape room.
Oh, excellent.
So we went for a Turkish sit down, had a nice Turkish lunch. And then, we've done an escape room, the 4 of us. So I've done a few before. Helen's done them before. But the kids hadn't, so it was new for them, and it was good fun. We all enjoyed it. So, good.
Did you get out?
We got out. We escaped. We broke into a bank vault. We robbed about 700 grand's worth of loot and got away with the diamond in something like 57 minutes. So 3 minutes to spare. So success all around.
Yeah, we've done a few of them. It doesn't take long for the cracks in the family dynamic to become exposed, like when you're stuck in one of them. The problem is me and Bob are entirely useless at everything and don't even pretend not to be. There's nothing we can do. We're no help to anyone in any situation. Great fun in the pub, the 2 of us. Other than that, you get nothing off either of us, like in any kind of thing. So it's quite good fun, but we do leave the females quite exasperated. Like, football-wise, what a mad old weekend. I know things tend to change when you get towards the business end of the season and you've got relegation 6-pointers and people playing for Europe. But, another incredible weekend, really. We'll go through it game by game and look at our picks again. I finished 5-3, which is all right. It's not 9-1, but to follow up with profit, I'm delighted because I think everyone was fearing the huge regression after my week last week. So 5-3 with 3 of them at plus money. I think you were the same, 5-3 bars, but we had 2 4-3 games in the Prem. There was a 6-0. There was loads of VAR action. And all kinds of things. So we'll go back to the start on Saturday lunchtime. Once I have told you about, it feels these ad reads, this one even more so, it feels like they're booby trapping this just for Geordie's Baz, because we've got Shady Rays in Shady May, apparently. And I'm really conscious of getting my tongue around that. There's too many of those A sounds. But Shady Rays is teaming up with SGPN for Shady May. Not only do you get an amazing 50% off, but you got a chance to win $500. Shady Rays have got you covered from the sun to the slopes with their premium polarized shades, customizable snow goggles, and loads more. If you lose or break them, even on day 1, they'll replace them, no questions asked. So that's a fantastic feature. If you don't love them, you can exchange them for a new pair or return them for free within 30 days. There's no risk when you shop with Shady Rays. Their team always has your back. Go to shadyrays.com, use the code SGPN for 50% off 2 or more pairs of polarized sunglasses. Take receipt to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/shady for your chance to win the $500 Shady May contest. Okay, so we'll rewind to Saturday lunchtime, a game that I was quite wrong about. Crystal Palace 4, West Ham United 3. Crystal Palace are my kryptonite, Baz, where very much Wolves are your kryptonite. And we talked about this when Palace played Wolves last week. I took West Ham on the proviso, and I'm looking at my notes here, is that Crystal Palace can't score. So Crystal Palace did score 4 times. They scored 3 in the first half. So yeah, that one went down for me. Baz, you took the West Ham team total though, 7-4 plus 175. Nice start.
Yeah, and I nailed it really, because I said in the in my review I fancied West Ham, but I just liked having the 2-2 on my side was the main argument for it. And I've come up with it a few times. It hasn't always worked. It let me down last week with a Villa game where they won 1-0, and I took the team total rather than the money line. But nailed it this week. So yeah, the West Ham over 1.5 was at 7-4 and cashed by 35 minutes. So there was no sweat for me. I'm 3-2 down, but I'm a winner. And it was good to see a few in the Discord had piped up and said it was something they've not really considered before. I was looking at the team totals rather when they fancy someone on the money line. Do you fancy them to get 2 or more? And there was 2 or 3 in there who had done exactly that and backed the team total despite fancying West Ham for the game.
Well, they were exactly the same price, Baz. That's it, and that's probably factors into the point you're making. Is that my pick was West Ham plus 175. You took the team total at the same bet plus 175. And you cash and I don't. So yeah, you make a great point.
The only thing I'm taking out of the equation is a 1-0 win, but at the same time, I'm getting the 2-2s, the 3-2 defeats, the 3-3, 4-2, the 4-3 as it turned out. You're getting a lot more on your side, and fair enough, they're longer shots than a 1-0. But sometimes I like just take the 1-0 out of the equation and get the price on the two goals or more and have that little comfort blanket. And it worked. It's nice when it works. And as I say, it was good in the Discord to see quite a few people followed that route and were happy to cash despite the fact the team they fancied to win the game didn't win the game.
And this is another classic example of the two teams, kind of mid-table teams now. They've done the hard work and escape in the relegation zone, so they're both pretty much safe. And when they're playing each other, I mean, they can go at one of any 3 ways. So you get certain teams who switch off when they're on the beach, as the old saying goes. You get certain teams who will just play with a handbrake off, play with a lot of freedom. And yeah, goals galore. So you're going to get a few more of these, and they're quite fun to handicap, although they are particularly tricky. Brentford 2, Forest 1. I took both teams to score at 18-19, minus 105. You took the same bet, Baz, so we landed this. I mean, it was nice to, once Forest got ahead, I was never really not confident that this would cash. So it was nice to cash a bet, but also this was a kick in the pants for Forest, man, because they just had to hang on, even for a point. Really, they should have hung on for all 3. I don't think the keeper covered himself in glory for either goal, Kale or Navas. But yeah, disappointing for Forest, although we picked up a winner, Baz.
Yeah, I think when they go 1-0 up, you sort of almost felt like there was a bit of momentum with Forest, having got the result against Brighton through the week. And as I say, we'd said before, they put in a good performance against Liverpool. And if they'd got 1-0 up and held on to that, I think they might have got enough confidence from that to push them on and possibly get them away from it. But it's a big blow, that one. Like, you've got to start. I mean, they've got Southampton up next, so they're still not out of this race. They've got to go there, beat Southampton and give themselves a chance. But they had to see that out, and even a point might have helped them a little bit. To lose both to lose the 2 goals was bad for them. Yeah,
Navas has been playing well. He'd been one of the factors in their resurgence, and he did seem to. I thought he should have kept at least one of those.
This was another triumph for the Discord channel, Malcolm. And again, it was our Dutch friend. We're going to have to find out his proper name so we don't have to call him our Dutch friend every week.
Yeah.
But he put up a pic of Ivan Toney to score from outside the box at 20-1. And it cashed. There was a free kick from the edge of the box. So another good pick put out in the Discord before the game there. And I think it was a few of us got onto that one.
Yeah, absolutely. Brighton 6, Wolves 0. I got this exactly right. Wolves continue to be your nemesis, Baz. I thought this was a great spot for Wolves. I took Brighton half-time, full-time, plus 137. This was in the hutch by 20 past 3. They were 3-0 up early, finished 6-0. You faded Brighton, thinking that, I don't know.
Well, it wasn't a fade of Brighton, was it? I backed both teams to score.
Yeah, you made it. Wasn't your whole case how Brighton were going to fall apart now?
Yeah. I mean, I've brought it down to me right up here that they've absolutely walked it, despite me saying this season. I didn't say it would fall apart in this game. I said they have got a tough run in. They've got to play the top 4. I wasn't saying Wolves were going to be the team to beat them. I just didn't want to back either side of it. But yeah, shite from me. Both teams to score. As soon as it goes 3-0, 4-0, you think Wolves are just throwing in the towel now. You knew they weren't going to get a consolation at any point. So yeah, poor one.
Yeah, looks like Brighton are going to continue playing the way we know that they can. Bournemouth 4, Leeds 1. I took Bournemouth, great pick, 14-9 plus 155. You took both teams to score, so 2 winning bets and an absolute disaster result for Leeds. This one, Baz.
Yeah, absolute carnage for Leeds. I think I don't see where they get a win from. I don't see how they bounce back from it. I mean,
do you know where they get a win from, Baz? It's me going to Welland Road in 2 weeks' time.
Yeah, I mean, they've got Man City up next. Have you got tickets for Welland Road?
Yeah.
How have you managed that, and why haven't I got one?
I'll tell you, it's quite a good story, Baz. I got what I'm now terming street tickets. So I dropped the boy off at football on a Saturday morning, went for a breakfast with Big Dom in Jesmond. We come out from having a breakfast. This Royal Mail van pulls up next to us on the street, right? The postman's inside, like waving, and I'm like, who the hell is that? Jumps out and he says hello to Dom. It's Dom's old mate from school. Hello, Dom, how you doing? Blah, blah, blah. It's great. This is a good story, actually. He said, oh, listen, he said, Nugs and Tiptoe, we'll get back to them in a minute. Nugs and Tiptoe have just cried off coming to Leeds in 2 weeks. Do you want to come? Dom says, aye. Looks at me, says, do you want to go to Leeds? I said, yeah. So we just picked up 2 tickets on the street off a random postman last Saturday morning. So the upshot of that, I then said to Dom, as we were walking away, I said, you've got to tell us about Nugs and Tiptoe. So Nugs was something to do with his surname. I can't quite remember what it was, but Nugs came from his surname. But where did Tiptoe, any idea where Tiptoe got his nickname from?
I've no idea.
No, well, and even Dom said, he said, I don't really know. He said, he's called Mark Tulip. So he's obviously comes from Tiptoe Through the Tulips, you know, that old song. Well, Dom had never heard that song, so it must be another old man thing. So that was funny. Luckily, because Nugs and Tiptoe can't go to Leeds, I picked up street tickets, yeah. So I am going to Leeds fast, but as discussed before, my away record with Newcastle is an absolute disaster. So we actually had quite high-level talks in the pub yesterday about whether or not I should go for fear of jinxing them, Baz. What do you think?
I think you should just give you a ticket to me, and I'll go instead.
You can send Chloe. She's the ace.
I recently went and watched us win over Forest, so I've got a good record. But yeah, Leeds, back to Leeds. I mean, they've got Man City next, followed by Newcastle, West Ham, and Spurs to finish off. Really tough run in, and they're in really, really poor form, just shipping goals for fun. 5 v Palace, 6 v Liverpool, 2 v Fulham, Leicester put 1 past them, Bournemouth put 4. Yeah, they're in massive trouble, I think, Leeds. But they've still got teams below them, so, you know, they could not win another game all season and possibly, no, they'd still be in trouble. Tonight's result will give us a better idea, won't it?
Is that magician bloke? Is he called David Copperfield?
Yes.
Yeah, so that was the other bloke who was involved in this conversation. That was there was Nugs, Tiptoe, and then the third one was David Copperfield. And I was like, all right, so what's that? And apparently he just disappears on a night out. That's his trick. Like, you just by midnight, then all of a sudden he's just gone. He just pulls a David Copperfield. So yeah, that little gang of friends obviously were quite a fan of the nicknames, so I enjoyed that. Fulham 1, Manchester City 2. Both teams to score was my system play. The system play is back on Manchester City. Pleased about this. Man City played well enough to hammer them, but it was tight till the end. Fulham, we said, would be competitive at home. And they probably should have scored more goals to cash your bet because yours was over 2.5, Baz.
Over 2.5 City goals. Really disappointing. They had XG of 2.8, shots on goal 9. Plenty of opportunities to get the goals. And it was my pick for this game. It was my lock for the week. And it was also the third part of my treble with the other 2 legs all coming in. So absolutely crucified me. I got a little bit from Moonaf yesterday who said it tailed my luck unsuccessfully. So maybe we'll blame him for it.
Yeah, that's a good shout.
The rest of that day went really well. But yeah, Man City, no good for me.
Manchester United 1, Aston Villa 0. We were miles away on this one. I took Villa team total. You took Villa on the money line. We expected at least goals. Or a bit more from Aston Villa. I watched the highlights back. There wasn't anything in it, really. Man U took a chance. Thought it was a keeping mistake. Villa missed some chances. Man U were probably, on reflection, 1 goal better than them. But the result really didn't do anything for anyone. But
yeah, as you say, probably a fair result. Villa only had 1 shot on target all game. It didn't really put up much of a fight by all accounts. So disappointing from a betting point of view. But I was taking Villa at nearly 4-1. I knew it was a bit of a long shot. I just thought it offered a bit of value.
Newcastle 2, Newcastle 3, Southampton 1. My bet was Newcastle to win with over 2 goals. So it took a little while to get going, but eventually they got over the line, a price of 9-10. My main concern for large periods of this game was that we weren't actually going to win. We were 1-0 down at half time. I think there was almost inevitable regression after the heady game the week before, the Sunday before, when we were 5-0 up after 20 minutes, and we got to Everton and scored 4. And you can't just sit back in your seat and expect that to happen again. And Southampton contributed quite well. I kind of, large parts of that game, I thought they were quite lively, and you can see how many good players they've got, but then you can also see why they're so fragile. They kind of let you play. It's like you enter a little contract with Southampton. You say, okay, you can have the ball and do some nice fancy stuff with it, as long as you let us win. And Southampton seem all right with that. They're like, yeah, okay, we'll do that. So we got there in the end. Newcastle won 3-1, so another big step towards Champions League qualification. A winning bet for me. But this was the headline of the week. In fact, Simmers came in the pub after, and we all did the big cheering and hugs like he always do. But then he got his phone out and showed us his betting slip, which he'd posted on Twitter. Simmers laddered everything you told him to ladder and ended up picking up about 400 odd quid. And I think you did the same, plus a little bit more, Baz.
Yeah, I absolutely hammered it. So my starting point for this, I said we start off with a Newcastle 2 goals or more and Newcastle 6 corners or more. That was a 5-4 bet builder double. That obviously cashed early in the second half. Was again looked a little bit ropey at half time. So I then said you can ladder it how you want. So you can either knock the goals up a notch, so take the 3 goals and then go 6 corners, 7 corners, or just stick with your 2 goals and go 6, 7, 8 corners, 9 goals. Newcastle got all the way up to 11 team corners. So with 2 goals and 11 team corners, you'd have been looking at big prices there. The 11 corners, it's getting shorter every week. I'm trying to think what price I got now. It was only around 8-1 or something for Newcastle to get 11 corners. It wasn't as big as it was a few weeks ago. But took it all the way up. So yeah, absolutely nailed it, because I'd said just ladder it however you want, and you could have played it any way you want. A 4th Newcastle goal would have been absolutely magic for some of mine. But yeah, really, really successful. And the corners is just something you've got to keep playing with Newcastle as they're going in the moment. They had 11 at the weekend of their own, 14 against Everton, 9 the week before against Spurs. It just goes on and on. They're hitting double figures frequently. They're the highest team in the league for corners. The average actually is only about less than 7 a game for Newcastle, which is surprising, really, because that just seems to be a minimum. So yeah, they're just flying, and the bookies are onto it a little bit. You almost have to start, if you were backing it as a single, you almost have to start at Newcastle gets 7 or more corners just to get into plus money. But even at that, the 7 had probably landed by 50, 55 minutes. And from that point, you're just cashing every time another one rolls in. So I'll just keep following it. You can't not the way it's going.
Yeah, you'd be mad not to. The final game yesterday was thoroughly bonkers. Liverpool 4, Tottenham Hotspur 3. I took Tottenham, which at this point doesn't sound that bad because on another day they might have won it. After 15 minutes when they were 3-0 down, I was just laughing at my own pick. Especially after saying the week before, if you back Tottenham, you shouldn't be allowed money. And then back Tottenham and thought, whoa, nearly carted myself off to the madhouse. And then they got back into it. And really, if they hadn't started like that, I know if your anti-ball should be your uncle and all that. But if they hadn't started like that, even if they managed to keep it out to 2, we did say Liverpool will give you a chance. That was the main handicap here. You took over 3.5 goals, Baz, and then you laddered all sorts of mad stuff. So, yeah, A, what a crazy coconut game, and then B, lots of winners for you.
Yeah, I took the over 3.5, and then before the game, mainly because of success on Saturday and having a bit of a bankroll behind me.
Yeah.
Decided to get involved in everything. So I went first half goals, over 1.5, over 2.5, over 3.5. 10 minutes in, I'm sitting there, I've cashed the 1.5 and the 2.5, and then Spurs get their first goal done at what point? Just before half time. So 40 minutes, and I've hit all of the first half ladder. The other thing I laddered was the total goals, all the way from 3.5 up to 7.5. So we got 7 of those. And I laddered the Spurs goals, because like you, I think Spurs will always get a chance. You play in Liverpool, you're going to get chances. So Spurs to score 2 or more, 3 or more, and I had the 4 or more as well. So all of those ladders, I went all the way up to 7. The only one I didn't hit was over 7.5 goals and the over 3.5 Spurs goals, but absolutely smashed the game. Couldn't have went any better. So really, really good night for me watching that one. I enjoyed the Spurs equaliser. I was happy with the draw from a Newcastle point of view.
Funny in the pub, man.
I was furious when Liverpool got the winner, but at the same time, it was another 100 quid in the bank, so I couldn't be that mad because every goal was a. But I mean, entertaining game. Exactly what we've been getting with Liverpool games lately. Klopp's a tit, the biggest.
Correct. On the tit list.
Absolute top of the tit list. I can't abide that bloke. Like, he's an absolute buffoon. He should have been sent off. Jota should have been sent off. And that was a massive win. To win like that in the 95th minute. And he doesn't go and celebrate with these players, jump in the crowd with the fans. He just wants to go and get in the face of the 4th official. What's that all about? Just a bit weird. And then everything after the game was about the officials. Like, just celebrate your 4-3 win in the 95th minute instead of twisting on about officials, despite the fact the biggest decision of that game went entirely in Liverpool's favour. He's just a tit.
For the second time in 3 days as well, do you know what I mean? I mean, he's a bad loser, but then he's showed that he's a bad winner as well. That's the second time this season he's got right up in the face of an official and he'll apologise for it, but I just think it's completely unacceptable. Like, the daft thing about this was sitting in the pub after Newcastle, as Newcastle fans, we were all sitting counting how many points we were in front and stuff. And then Liverpool were 3-0 up, and no one was bothered at all about where they were and how far behind we were, and that was it, game over. And then Spurs come all the way back. And when Spurs equalised, a pub went absolutely nuts, went wild. Everyone's still cuddling each other. When Liverpool scored again, there was one Liverpool fan in the bar, student, just a young student lad, and he fucking went up as well. Fair play to him. No one said anything to him. Everyone just let him go on with it. Like, and a few people were patting him on the back. We were just laughing. But then after that, like the fear, there was just absolutely, we were then counting points and goals again. But everyone was then a bit depressed, like, oh shit, they're going to catch it. They're definitely going to catch it. Well, when they were 3-0 up, they weren't. Yeah. And actually, they were worse off then because their goal difference was 2 worse than it had been an hour before when we weren't bothered.
You know what it is? That was precisely my thinking at the end of the game. Because at 3-0, you're thinking, if they do go and win everything, then goals could... Because our goal difference is about 10, 11, 12 more than them. But let's be honest, for them to catch Newcastle, they've got to win 5 games and we've got to lose. So quickly, that could become
that would disappear.
Margin. So had they gone on and won that 5-6-0, then suddenly the goal difference almost drops out of our favour as a 1 goal win. But goal difference is still nice. I'm not concerned. 2 wins for Newcastle should do it. And there's lots of people saying Liverpool went out from here. I said it 2 weeks ago. I didn't think they would. I still don't think they would. Will.
The thing is, they picked up 9 points this week. And this was the first line of my handicap for the game, but I'll just throw it out now. They picked up 9 points this week. Could easily have been 2 or 3 or 5 or something like that. Because they got away with it against Forest. They got away with it with a ridiculous VAR against West Ham. And they got away with it with a ridiculous VAR yesterday. So why would they win 5 games in a row?
All 1 goal margins. They're conceding plenty of goals. I'm just not sitting here thinking, Liverpool are going to win the next 4, 5, whatever, how many they've got left. I can't remember. They might do, but even then, I don't know. I think Newcastle and Man United have each got 7 points in them. We'll see where we are in a couple of weeks' time, but not lost.
Absolutely right, Baz. Okay, so there's 4 Premier League games to talk about this week. Leicester and Everton remains goalless after 10 minutes. So we will turn our attention to Tuesday night. Once I've told you about Underdog Fantasy, Best Ball Mania. All right, IV, Baz, is that 4 or 6?
That's 4.
Is it? Well, I mean, again, someone's booby trapping these ad reads, Baz. A professional would have read them before the show just to check there wasn't anything in there you couldn't work out. Best Ball Mania 4 brackets or possibly 6 is here. And Underdog Fantasy,
it's 4.
Is all right, definitely 4, is it? It's giving away $15 million in prizes. I bet they're delighted with how I've read this out. Underdog Fantasy, plus plenty of ways to win with NBA, NHL, and MLB with their player prop parlays. Head over to underdogfantasy.com and use the promo code SGPN for a 100% deposit bonus up to $100. That's underdogfantasy.com. Promo code SGPN. Also, it's the Kentucky Derby week, and the notorious OTB, who is my mate Chase, who's an absolute legend. He's a proper character. If you're not listening to the notorious OTB on the network, do it. So that show by the Sports Gambling Podcast Network will have all your Triple Crown bets. Plus, if you leave a review for the show, wherever you get your podcast between now and Belmont Saturday on June the 10th, you'll be entered with a draw to win a canvas print of the Wolves' one-of-a-kind Fallen Bob painting. It's post time. Kentucky Derby on Saturday. I've already started doing my homework today. I've got a Triple Crown article going up tomorrow. There'll be a Kentucky Derby article going up on Thursday. And then myself and the Wolf of Oaklawn will be on the mothership with Sean and Ryan on Thursday as well. So lots of horsey action to get your teeth stuck into. Right, Tuesday night, 8 o'clock kickoff. Arsenal against Chelsea. That is 3 p.m. Eastern time. Arsenal are 11-18. The draw is 3-1, and Chelsea are 9-2 plus 450. Arsenal go into this off the top for the first time in ages. Manchester City usurped them with that win over Fulham yesterday. So I think the key is, have they got one more reaction in them? They've reacted a few times this season to some setbacks, but they need to do it again now. They're letting in water. They didn't lay a glove on Manchester City last week. They've got no win in 4 games, conceding 11 goals, really missing Saliba, who won't be back. Arsenal have conceded more league goals than Chelsea, which is a quite incredible stat when you bear in mind how terrible Chelsea have been and how stellar Arsenal have been all season. Chelsea had back-to-back wins in March, and they are their only 2 wins in 13 games. They scored 1 goal in the last 5 games, which was a Mahusiv deflection from Conor Gallagher. I was trying to find an angle to feed Arsenal, Baz, just because I think they're a little bit shot. They've given away 2-goal leads twice. They failed to win at home to Southampton. They got spanked off City. They just look ready for something terrible to happen. But it was impossible with any other team apart from Chelsea coming in, you could try and make a case for. I mean, you could make a case for Southampton, as we saw a couple of weeks ago. You could make a case for Forest. Maybe Everton might be the only ones. But Old Hapless Frank and the rest of this lot have just completely and utterly given up. So I picked a bet that gave myself a couple of options here. Arsenal to win and over 2.5 goals is at a price of 7-5. That's plus 140. So that gave me the 2-1. If Chelsea can score, it gives you the 2-1 Arsenal win. But even if Chelsea don't score, which you can't rely on them to do, that would give us a 3-0 win as well. So Arsenal to win in over 2.5 goals. And apparently, while you talk, Baz, Everton have a penalty. Serial is keeping us up to date live in the...
Everton have scored it. I've got it live in front of me at the moment.
Shit.
So, yeah, I didn't want to interrupt you. But yeah, Everton have gone 1-0 up from the penalty spot. I assume that'll be Dominic Calvert-Lewin, who was required for a shot on target for me. So we'll see where that is. I'm sure he would be the penalty taker. I've got a very similar way to you, just very, very slightly different. Say Arsenal are having a rough time of it lately. No win in 4, 11 games conceded. They've also had no clean sheet in the last 6 league games now. But I just think it's a good opportunity to change that here. I mean, a clean sheet against Chelsea isn't that hard to come by these days. Chelsea have failed to score in 6 of the last 7 games. That's in all competitions. Just 1 league goal in April. I remember seeing exactly the same thing in February. They scored 1 league goal in February as well. So it's the second time they've mustered that. Yeah, Calvert-Lewin was the scorer of the penalty. So yeah, it's now 5 defeats in a row for Chelsea and 8 without win. They've conceded at least 2 in each of the last 4 games, 3 of which were at home as well. So they're not getting any home comforts at the moment. And despite being in a bit of a slump, Arsenal, they have still been scoring goals. They've scored 16 in the last 6 games. So they're still averaging 2.5 goals a game themselves. Chelsea are in disarray. They've got a lot of injuries now as well. Mount and James have been ruled out for the season. Havertz was a doubt, might play tomorrow. Cucurella's injured. Koulibaly's injured. I mean, they've got a big enough squad. Realistically, it doesn't really matter who they put out because, let's be honest, they've all been shite. So my first instinct was Arsenal goals, but 4-6 for 2 or more. I think it's a fair price. It's about what I expected, but it's a little bit short for my main pick. You could push it a little bit more. Arsenal score 3 or more is available at 9-4. I also considered the handicap, but then Arsenal's defensive struggles sort of concern me a little bit. As I say, they're not keeping clean sheets. They're all conceding goals regularly. So I decided to go with the Arsenal team goals was 4-6, but squeeze it a little bit more and just tag on the Arsenal win. So my bet, very similar to yours, is Arsenal to win and Arsenal to score 2 or more. So I think all I've got in my favour is a 2-0, which you haven't got. I'm trying to think what you've got over me. Nothing. But you've got a bigger price. Mine's just slightly odds against. It's 10-11. So yeah, the pick for me is Arsenal to beat Chelsea and also to score 2 or more goals in the game. So that's any Arsenal win but a 1-0 at around 10-11.
Okey-doke. Wednesday, we have 2 games, both 8 p.m. kickoffs. Liverpool take on Fulham. Liverpool are 7-25, minus 357. The doors at 9-2, plus 450. Fulham are at 9-1. Baz, we've just finished slagging them off. Do you think they're going to win again?
Oh, sorry. Are we jumping? Is it Liverpool next?
Yeah.
I'm looking ready to talk Man City. I've got Man City down as my next game on a handicap.
Alphabetical order, Baz. Come on.
Yeah. I mean, they are. You know, they have hit a bit of a winning streak now, 4 in a row. And despite Klopp moaning his tits about how hard done by they are, they continue to get the rub of the green every week for me. Dodgy penalty shout against West Ham, as you said. Gifted a winner by Moura. The winner scored by someone who should have been sent off earlier. So I think they'll probably win here. They should win here. For one thing with Liverpool is it's hard to expect them to win easily, given how easy it is for teams to score against them at the moment. I mean, Leeds scored against them. Forest scored twice. West Ham once. Spurs put 3 past them. and they've had just one clean sheet in the last 8 games. So, although Fulham have had back-to-back defeats, I mean, they didn't do too badly against Man City, conceding just a 2-1 defeat. What did go badly for them was Pereira got injured at the weekend. He'll be a big miss, particularly with Mitrovic out. Pereira is sort of the next man up in terms of talisman for them. So he'll be a big blow. So I do think Liverpool will win. The home form is good. And that's not to say that Fulham can't make a fight of it and get amongst the goals. I think we expect Liverpool to be able to ship goals every week. But I had great success with it, as I said on Sunday, was with first half goals. And as I say, got that all the way up to 3.5 the other day. Over 1.5 first half goals in this game is 11-10. And that's the pick for me. It's hit in 4 of the last 5 Liverpool games. So it's hitting often enough. It's plus money. So that's where I'm going. Over 1.5 first half goals at 11-10.
I think that's probably the 4th week now, but as that one of us is taking them. I had it against West Ham last week. So why wouldn't you just crack on with it? Yeah, it's Liverpool and goals really. Scored 15 in the last 4, conceded 9 in their last 5. Fulham are playing well. I do think that Pereira missing is a blow. I didn't know about that actually. But they've competed very well against Man City. They show no signs of heading off to the beach just yet. There was no patterns that I could find really relating to Fulham with the both teams to score or over under. So the key was Liverpool can't defend. Fulham playing with a little bit of freedom. So this could be, Liverpool could hump them. But I think Fulham are good for a goal here. Both teams to score, 4-5, minus 125 is going to be my pick, Baz. Wednesday, 8 p.m. again is Manchester City against West Ham. Manchester City 1-5, minus 500. Door 6-1. West Ham at 12-1. Same old problem. Betting suspended in the Leicester-Everton game. What's going on?
I think there's 1-1 coming up.
Go on, dangerous attack. Go! There it is. I'm watching the little green box with the arrows go backwards and forwards. Well, that arrow has gone right in the goal, that has. Leicester 1, Everton 1. Very impartial on this show, Baz. Very professional. Man City won 8 in a row, scoring 22 goals. There is no reason they'll just stop absolutely going for it. Like I say, they've got themselves to the top of the league now. They're not going to take the foot off. So you can assume Man City are going to score plenty, 3 or more. But then trying to find a bet is the problem. And I think you could probably guess what I'm going to take here, Baz. West Ham have scored in their last 8 games. Both teams to score is hit in the last 5 Manchester City games. They keep winning something to 1. And that was my handicap yesterday when they went to Fulham. And there's no reason why I can't do it again. So both teams to score. It's plus money every week as well. It's even money. It's plus 100. And West Ham, they lost at the weekend, but they did score 3 times. Were dangerous against Liverpool the week before. They're safe. Forward players looking quite lively. So I think West Ham could get a goal here. Man City will probably end up winning 3 or 4-1. But I'll give West Ham a goal and take the both teams to score, Baz.
Yeah, I mean, as you say, it's been hitting nicely. I mean, it sometimes sounds a little bit bold, doesn't it? You're almost backing against Man City in a fashion, although you're not expecting them to lose the game. And I mean, you're doing it against teams like Fulham the other day, paid off for you. So yeah, it's good. I don't mind it. As you say, it's happening often enough, and you're getting good price at it every week. Soyuncu with the goal for Leicester, 1-1. Some late drama. There's probably nobody interested in the Wolfsburg v Arsenal ladies game in the Champions League, Malcolm. I was watching this before we came on. Arsenal-Wolfsburg, semi-final of the Champions League. They've got 70,000 at the Emirates tonight. It was 2-2 in the first leg, 2-2 in the second leg, and Wolfsburg have just scored in the 120th minute.
So even the Arsenal women have bottled it.
So Arsenal women have bottled it big time, yeah. They'll be facing Barcelona in the final, which I think is in Amsterdam. And again, our Dutch friend from the Discord said he might go and watch that. So there we go. Bit of female football, because we don't discriminate here on the Premier League Gambling Podcast. Right, where are we? Man City. The winning run now stretches to 8 games. And the Fulham win was the first time in a while that I haven't hit the handicap or the goal lines, with just 2 goals scored and just a 1-goal margin of victory. Not without their chances to push that further. And very disappointing from my point of view that it didn't. The home form's even better. 13 wins in a row and 15 wins in the last 16. They've won by a minimum of 2 goals in each of their last 9 home games in all competitions. So handicaps and things like that are definitely in play. West Ham have lost the last 2 now, conceding 6 goals. Giving up 4 goals to Palace isn't the best confidence boost you need before a trip to Man City. So the Man City form at home is what catches the eye for me. And despite them letting me down yesterday, I'm just going to go back to the well and take the same bet. In the same way you went and took the same bet with a Man City game. I'm going to take City to score 3 or more. It's at 4-5. They've done 3 or more in 12 of the last 14 home games. So close enough to even money. It's reasonable enough. So give me the team total over 2.5 at 4-5, and I will ride that higher. I'll be taking the over 3.5 City goals at 9-4 plus 225. I just think back to that Arsenal game last week at the Etihad. They absolutely tore them apart, and they hit 4, and they could have hit 6s or 7s easily. And it was a similar story in the Bayern game. So even against really good sides or sides who have been really good recently, that there's nothing stopping Man City hitting whatever score they want at the moment. So yeah, 3 or more looks safe, and I think the 4 or more at 9-4 is a good price. So those are the 2 picks for me.
Just a call back to the very top of the show. First thing we talked about, first half goals, Baz. Cereal's done the business.
Yeah, good show. Yeah,
over 1.5.
That's
23 minutes in.
Yeah, 94. I mean, I didn't even look at the prices for 2.5s and 3.5s. My bet builder on that game was Calvert-Lewin shot on target, tick. Over more than 1 goal in the game, tick. 8 corners or more in the game. We're at 5 after 23 minutes. And the other one is Harvey Barnes to have a shot on target. So that's going well at the moment. 3 more corners and a Harvey Barnes shot on target will see me hitting around a 5-2 winner. So, yeah, chances.
Nice. One more game, Thursday, 8 p.m., 3 p.m. Eastern Time, between Brighton and Hove Albion and Manchester United. Brighton are even money, plus 100. The draw is 5-2, plus 250. Man United are 11-4, plus 275. Baz, big price, Man United.
You might have one more game. I've got 3, 4 more
yeah,
games.
Right, okay.
Some bonus picks.
Baz. I'm hungover, man.
And I've got 3 things to put out the end, which will take me about 30 seconds. There's no big analysis. Just a couple of little things to look at.
We'll get analysing this one, Brighton.
Let's analyse Brighton versus Man United. Brighton were on fire at the weekend, and that was with resting players like Mitoma and McAllister, who came off the bench eventually. Not good for people's fantasy football teams this week with Mitoma, McAllister. I'm sure there's another one of the big names missing as well, but they didn't need them at the end of the day. I had Solly March, who did start and didn't do a thing, despite Brighton scoring 6 goals. So that was good for a fantasy play.
Do you ever, Baz, play the commentator not being able to say Solly March's full name challenge? That's always a good game when you're watching a Brighton match. No commentator has ever not said Solly March in its entirety. No one's ever just said March. I think it's the only player in the history of football.
All right, I've never noticed it.
Middle of the park, ball, you can picture it. Left back gives it to the centre back. Centre back looks up, gives it wide. Solly March. Like full name every single time, yeah. Good drinking game, Baz.
I'm going to have a look at that next time out.
Do it.
So I took the both teams to score, and I think the writing was on the wall for that. What I did say was I'd back this Brighton team to score against anyone at the moment. Nobody's shut them out in the last 9 league games now. But I did find this one a tricky one to play, if I'm honest. Brighton are favourites, and I think probably rightly so at home. They were a good match for Man United in the FA Cup at Wembley. I finished 0-0 in normal time. But odds-on favourite makes them a little bit hard for me to take here. They have won the last 2 head-to-heads. They won 2-1 at Old Trafford in the very first game of this season. And they hammered them 4-0 last season at home. But I think this Man United team have grown a bit. We know they were shit last season. And we know they started off really, really slowly this season. So I think they are a better side, Man United, now than they were in those 2 games. In Man United's away form is patchy. 2 wins, 2 losses and a draw in their last 5. And Brighton's home form is 3 wins, 1 draw, 1 loss. But teams have been able to go to Brighton and get results. A lot of Brighton's form has come away from home. Brighton, they've only won 8 of their 15 home games. They've lost 4 times and they've drawn, you do the maths there, 3. Yeah, 7 times they've failed to win out of 15 home games. And they've still got Manchester United to go there. They've still got Man City to go there. So, there's not this big thing about their home form, any kind of fortress or anything like that. And I just think seeing Man United as big as 3-1 in places here just seems a bit too big for me and represents a little bit of value. I don't like what I'm doing. I'm probably not going to enjoy the game. I probably want Brighton to win, but I'm taking Man United on the money line. I really wanted to weigh into Brighton here. I just couldn't find anything that stood out as value. And for me, Man United at 3-1 offers a bit of value. Other teams have gone there. Worse teams than Man United have gone there and got a result at Brighton. So that's a pick for me. Man United to beat Brighton at 3-1.
I think you're absolutely right, Baz. It's not my pick, but if you've got to pick any one of those 3 outcomes, you have to pick Manchester United. The Brighton there's a little pattern. 1 lost, 1 lost, 1 in their last 5. So they're due a loss, Baz. So that goes in your favour. Man, you have won 4 out of 5. They weren't convincing against Villa, but got it done. Man, you have kept clean sheets in 4 of the last 5 games. It is hard to see Brighton not scoring. But, Baz, I like a comp game. We had a comp game 2 weeks ago, which was Brighton against Manchester United, Baz. They played for 2 hours. Do you remember?
Yeah.
What was the score, Baz?
0-0.
0-0. Under 2.5 goals is 13-10 plus 130. So everybody zigs, Baz. I'll zag. I'm going back that way. We've just seen it. There might be a goal.
Cup football can be a bit different, can't it? Different approaches.
Can it?
I don't mind it. It's Man United games haven't been full of goals at all lately. So no, I don't mind it at all.
I think it's just too big for an outcome that we've just seen. I like to say I like the price of 13-10. Hopefully Brighton can get it done. Could easily be a 1-1. I mean, I could be wrong as well. It could be a 4-3. But I like this play. I don't think it will be a shootout. Brighton can compete and kind of go toe-to-toe when they have to. Quite a lot at stake as well. Manchester United won't want to drop any more points with Liverpool hunting them down. Everyone's talking about, well, sorry, not everyone. Newcastle fans are talking about Liverpool hunting us down, when actually Manchester United are closer to their sides at the moment. So if Man United drop points, that's good for us as well. And Brighton is still be looking to finish to get into Europe for the first time. They've never played in Europe before. So no, I'm all right with this pick, Baz. Under 2.5, 13-10, plus 130. Right, come on then. What other shite have you picked?
Because we only had 4 Premier League games, I thought you've got to hide some random stuff out as well. We don't have to, but I am doing.
I need some of them glasses, Baz, with like eyeballs painted on, so I can sit here and pretend I'm awake while you do this.
Stay asleep. So I mean, I appreciate some of this will be no good to our American listeners who can't get National League stuff. But I'm going to start off on Wednesday night in League 2.
Oh, 2-1 to Leicester. Get better. Get in the queue. I have no idea. I'm watching the arrows, Baz. The arrows just got in that goal again. Go on, you do your thing. I'll try. Serial can tell me. Come on, Serial.
Jamie Vardy.
He's having a party.
Yeah, I'm starting off with Bradford to beat Crewe, League 2, Wednesday night. There's a few games this week, just odd games in some of the lower leagues, where players are playing their catch-up games that were cancelled. And we talked earlier about a lot of teams being on the beach now. I'm really, really wary in these lower leagues of games where there's nothing riding on them. And funnily enough, I didn't mention it in Discord the other day. Someone had asked me again for my League One picks because League One Baz is on fire at the moment. And I said, just avoid games where there's nothing going on. There was one, I've followed Barnsley for weeks, and now they're sort of locked into 3rd place or 4th place, Barnsley, not going anywhere. And I didn't want to touch it this week. They were 4-1 down, game finished 4-4. And it's like you said, sometimes those games can just go stupid. So it's hard to predict. There might be opportunities for goals in a lot of these games. But this game on Wednesday is a game that Bradford need to win. They are right on the cusp of the playoffs with teams breathing down the neck. Bradford win this one. and they're pretty much into the playoffs. So Bradford to beat Crewe away from home at odds of around 8 to 11. I've also gone with the National League playoffs, which start this week. So we talk National League a little bit with Notts County and Wrexham. Just no analysis required. I'm taking Woking v Bromley, both teams to score, and Barnet v Boreham Wood. Barnet to win 17-10. Barnet just have a much better record against the top teams in this league than Boreham Wood do. A little bit of value, 17-10. And there's a French game as well. Again, no analysis, but I'm taking Lens to beat Toulouse. Lens in third place, still chasing down second place, which would get them automatically into the Champions League. They've won 5 of the last 6 games. The only game they lost was PSG. So give me Lens on the money line at 8 to 11. Is it Lens or Lens?
I was going to say I would go Lens, Baz, but then again, I'm a fluent French speaker, Baz. I converse.
So we'll check out Lens at 8 to 11 or Lens to score 2 or more, also at 8 to 11. So there you go, 4 little bonus picks. Let's see how we do. But small stakes, have a little sprinkle, make it a parlay or something.
Hey, what's made us laugh when I wasn't listening to any of that is that we're obviously about 2 minutes ahead of it must take 2 minutes for the pictures to get across the ocean to America because we keep spoiling this for Serial. You did it with a Calvert-Lewin penalty and I laughed, and then when I shouted that goal had just gone in, he's about 2 minutes behind, so he's sweating his bets out and we just keep spoiling it for him, but he's happy because they've cashed. So he can pay. He's going to pay his fines for April for being late and any baseball chat that went on. $12.
I was between Barnes and Madison for my shot on target. Madison's just had one. Vardy's obviously had one. So I'm hoping Barnes gets his. But we're going all right. Plenty of time. And Leicester beating Everton is always good. 6 corners. Not far off.
Nice. Right. Well done, Baz. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. That is that for this week's show. I don't know what should we do on Thursday night, Baz. We can record at the normal time, have a live watch along of Brighton v Everton, maybe do this again.
You said you've got,
we can spoil that.
You've got some horsey podcast to do Thursday night. What time is that?
Oh, I don't know. That's on the more shit. Yeah, we've got to factor that in with MLB. This is another conversation for off air, really, isn't it, Baz? I'll tell you what. Just keep your eyes peeled the usual places.
We will be out on Thursday night is the plan.
You'll see us when you see us because we got a full slate. At the weekend, and we can look back over what happened midweek. Thanks, everyone.
Malcolm, we're getting plenty of people watching the YouTube. Only about 10% of them pressing the little thumbs up.
Bastards, aren't the
subscribe. The subscriber numbers are going up. The viewers are going up, but the thumbs up, you need to do that. And we have had a few more reviews on Spotify. We need more on Apple as well. So if you are listening on any of those apps, devices, whatever, make sure you're reviewing it because I think last week, Malcolm, was our best show of download numbers. The last Thursday show, I think it was, not this one we've just done, because we put that out really late, which didn't help. I noticed we had Billy on Twitter saying, where's the podcast? It hasn't gone out, but we were a bit late, weren't we, recording on the Friday this week? So, keep putting your reviews in. Keep telling people, keep coming back and listening.
Champion. Well done, Baz. I'm going to go and watch the second half of this game, and then we'll be back in 1 hour with the MLB show. So if you're into that, come back and join us. I'll try not to spoil anything for you. Thanks, everyone. We do appreciate it. Good luck with all your bets. Enjoy the footy this week. Back on Thursday. Until then, we'll see you down the road. Cheers.